What's up, everybody? This is Buck. Welcome to Tattoos in Review. Today, we're in the heart of Philadelphia, PA in Kensington. Have you been looking for a tattoo artist that wants to do fine lines, just don't know where to go? We got you covered. We're a crown and feather tattoo company. We're going to interview owner-artist Dylan Carr. Been tattooing for over 6 years in the Philadelphia area. Expert in micro tattooing, has his own little unique niche. Let's step inside and let's get it. Hey Dylan, thanks for stopping out today and taking the time to do this for us, man. I know you're crazy busy.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Can you tell us about your journey into becoming a tattoo artist and what inspired you to pursue this career?
Yeah, so how I got into tattooing was around the age of 17. I went with my girlfriend at the time to get her first tattoo. And upon going into the shop, I was instantly interested in being in a tattoo studio. Just the camaraderie, hanging out with everyone, and being able to do art as a career. It really caught my attention, so I kind of set my sights on that. And after graduating high school, I was fortunate enough to get an apprenticeship.
Where did you serve your apprenticeship at?
I apprenticed at a place called the Upper Darby Inkwell out in Delaware County. I was fortunate enough to get in there because I actually bagged groceries across the street from there and was able to kind of make friends with those guys, and they were nice enough to let me come hang out after I graduated high school.
Now, were you into art before you became a tattoo artist? Like, did you draw a lot as a kid?
Yeah, I was always into art, but I suppose towards the end of high school was when I really started taking it seriously and looking to pursue a career in art.
How long have you been working as a tattoo artist, and how has the industry kind of changed since you've been involved with it?
Yeah, I've been tattooing for about 8 years now, and it's changed immensely since I started tattooing. Just how far the technology has come, the different machines, and even the methods of drawing. Like now everything's pretty much done digitally. I think it's all been for the better. I think that it's really pushed a lot of artists to do their best art.
So you're talking about art. What would you say is your style?
I'd say my style is fine line tattoos, or micro tattoos.
So you know what, I noticed that on your Instagram page. Before we get into that, what is your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Dylan Carr Tattoos.
Okay, do you have a Gmail or anything that you give out?
Yeah, it's tattoos.carr, that's C-A-R-R, @gmail.com.
And if somebody were to try to get a hold of you to do a tattoo, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Usually email's the best, and then I can kind of point them in the right direction of wait times and all that kind of, all the details there.
Now let's go back into the style. I noticed that on your Instagram, you guys do a lot of those micro tattoos. Is that something new that's kind of to the scene? And the only reason I'm asking you is I'm an old school biker type of tattoo guy from the 90s, and I remember the bold thick lines. Now I'm seeing a lot of this micro tattoo fine line stuff. Is that something that just recently changed over the past couple years, or is that something maybe I missed out on?
I feel like it's kind of gained a lot of popularity over the last few years. I mean, people have been using single needles for a while, but yeah, I guess within the last 5 years or so, the fine line and micro tattoos have really gained popularity. I think just being able to get a tattoo that's a bit more subtle has opened up the idea of getting tattoos to a lot more people.
So catering to maybe the type of person that just wants something small, doesn't want to go.
Exactly.
Like you and I are kind of covered.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, that's a whole different market that I didn't even think about.
100%.
How do you approach creating a unique design for a client? Kind of walk us through that process and the creativity process for that.
So I like to kind of get a rundown of what my client has in mind, of course. Any specifications that they want me to tailor. I'll generally have some kind of concept drawn up for them when they come in, but then I really like to fine-tune the design when I have them in person in the studio. So I'll show them the design, and if they have any adjustments they want to make, or any creative input that they want to give me, then we'll tailor those changes for them.
Can you share a particularly challenging tattoo you've worked on and how you kind of overcame the difficulties with the client?
I had one client who wanted a pet portrait, but the only photo they had of their animal was a like a front-facing iPad photo. So I ended up fully digitally repainting the image for them so that we had like a high enough resolution picture that we could make a tattoo from it. Yeah, that was a big challenge, but worth it.
When somebody comes in and gets a piece together with you, do you charge by the hour or do you charge by the piece?
I usually charge by the hour.
With these micro tattoos, are we talking 2-3 hours, 6 hours?
If someone's getting a standard dog portrait, say, which is I guess one of my more popular designs, those will usually take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to complete.
So you just talked about a memorial portrait. Can you tell us about an exciting or memorable tattoo project that you've worked on?
Honestly, any of the memorial pet portraits I've done really strike a nerve with me because, you know, being a pet owner myself and having lost pets in the past, you know, I understand how emotional that can be. And, you know, some people just want to get a tattoo so that they can have a closure on that chapter of their life. So those always kind of really stick out to me.
Have you ever seen the tattoos where it's a recording of somebody's voice wave?
I have seen those, yeah.
Did you ever do one?
I feel like I have, actually.
Now, my question with that is there an app that goes along with that has to read that?
I think so, though I've never, when I personally did it, I didn't use like an app or anything. It was just someone bringing me like, hey, can you do this image?
I always wondered about that, man. That's just,
so do I.
It seems like a very cool tattoo. It was a great idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got a last recording of a parent.
Yeah,
That
it's super interesting.
How do you stay up to date with the latest tattooing techniques and style?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, a lot of it comes from social media. Like, I feel like I'll pick up a lot of new approaches and styles on there. I also feel like I learn a lot from guest spots, you know, just getting around new people and seeing how others approach something that, you know, perhaps I would have never thought to do it that way. Yeah.
Now, have you tattooed anybody famous?
I've tattooed a couple of, I suppose, minor celebrities.
Anybody that you could bring up, or?
One of my, I guess, most notable clients is this girl. Her name's Tori Deal. She's on a reality show called The Challenge. Yeah.
The name sounds actually familiar.
Yeah, she's great. Definitely a pleasure to work with. And I also tattooed a couple UFC fighters, which is terrifying.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Yeah, same here. So just knowing what they can do.
I just noticed that there was a jiu-jitsu place right around the corner.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dylan, where's your shop located at?
Our shop is in almost Fishtown, but really Kensington, Philadelphia. But it's not so bad here.
Why in particular did you choose this spot?
Honestly, I just really liked the building, and we had the feeling that this neighborhood was going to kind of be on its way up. So when we first moved in, it was a little bit sketchy, but you know, it's really taken a change for the better over the last 4 or 5 years, and couldn't be happier to be in this neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, it is an up-and-coming neighborhood that people outside of the area might not even understand, you know, the changes went through.
100%. Like, people just hear Kensington and they're like, oh, like, what the fuck are you doing over there?
Right, because that's,
it's not,
you know, all they see is like Dr. Oz going down to Kensington,
yeah.
Kensington Ave, stuff like that. So
for sure. Yeah, it's a bummer. It definitely gets a bad rep.
What advice would you give to someone interested in pursuing a career as a tattoo artist?
They go for it. I mean, it's certainly one of the most lucrative artistic careers that one can choose right now. The biggest challenge is actually getting a foot in the door. But yeah, I mean, just take your time with it. Find a mentor who's gonna, you know, practice the style that you're hoping to pursue. Just really take your time with it.
When you do tattoos, what do you recommend as aftercare? Are you a Sanoderm guy, Aquaphor guy?
Big Sanoderm guy. Yeah, I like it because it, you know, it just kind of minimizes a lot of variables when it comes to the aftercare, because, you know, you just put this on there and you don't really have to worry about the tattoo for, you know, 4 or 5 days now.
So why don't we get into this real quick, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that don't fully understand how to use Sanoderm, and I think this might be a great opportunity.
Sure.
When you use Sanoderm and you start to get that, you know, hemoglobin or the pockets, are you supposed to take that off, wash it, and then reapply?
It's my understanding that that's what you're supposed to do. Though doing fine line tattoos, we actually don't run into that. Just because there's so much less ink going into the skin, it like pretty much one piece goes on there and you're good to go.
How do you feel your tattoos hold up all the fine line details that you have? Have you seen any from 9 years ago that are the micro tattoos?
You know, I think fine line tattoos can hold up well if they're applied properly. There's certainly the cases of people doing stuff that's really not going to hold up well, but I think if you're using enough contrast and certainly not going egregiously small with the design, they will generally hold up well. Like, I've seen plenty of my stuff that's healed in for years now that looks great.
I asked you that for a specific reason because I think that that's a question that a lot of people ask.
100%.
Because everybody is so ingrained with all that. So I wanted to ask you that question today to give you an opportunity to promote that fine line tattoo that you kind of specialize in.
Absolutely.
And let people know about. Because I think that there's times where people are a little afraid of that, and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of your stuff, on Instagram that's healed, that's been years out, that looks fantastic.
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, there's, people can make the argument that, oh, you've only been doing fine line stuff for a few years, so you only have 5 years worth of examples of your work healed. Though I have seen work 15 years healed that looks good as well. So it really is just a matter of how it's being applied. Yeah, it really just is a matter of how it's being applied.
Have you ever done free tattoos to cover up people's gang tattoos, anything crazy like that?
Not to cover up gang tattoos or anything like that, though we did used to offer a service of covering self-harm scars. Yeah, we called it Project Tsukurou, and it was really successful. It, we had tens of thousands of people reach out to us for this project. Unfortunately, we did have to discontinue this project after some time just due to logistical reasons, COVID, people dropping out of the project, which was unfortunate, but I'm glad that we got to help some people out.
I'm glad I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you feel like I need to ask, or about your shop or about yourself?
Not that I can think of off the top, at least. If you like this video, feel free to click on the next one up here.